Well, this is 2A Radio TV, and we are live at the Monrovia City Hall. My name is Ta Yubi Kanet. Let me say many thanks to all of our viewers across the world, particularly to our CEO, James Jesse of the US, and our hardworking manager, Pastor Patience. Thanks so kindly for such a great job. Just at the eve of Liberia's independence, we have our guest, Reverend Torli Krua. Welcome to 2A Radio TV.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy pre-independence.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let me say welcome to Liberia.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so many folks will want to know who is Reverend Torli H. Proud.
Well, I was born in Tapeta, Liberia, and I grew up in the village called Krua, a few miles from Tapeta. I went to elementary school at a school built by my father and his friends, and then I went to Santa Clara High School. My background is in computers and telecommunication. I was able to set up my own company in this country before the war. And, I'm currently living in the United States, where I've been since the beginning of the war. And from there, I've come here today.
Okay, so we heard about this Universal Human Rights International. And what is this all about?
The Universal Human Rights International, when the war happened and we went to America, we were under the impression that everything was going to be put in place for the protection of people who were coming into the country from Liberia and other places. That was not the case. People were on their own. You have to do it yourself, basically. And so we created the Universal Human Rights International to help refugees of war that were coming to the United States to make a smooth transition to life there and to also help to make their communities better. So that's why we started Universal Human Rights International. And we started to fight first for refugee resettlement because originally very few people were allowed from African countries to go to the United States as refugees. Matter of fact, in 1990, only 8 Liberians were allowed out of 1.2 million refugees that were scattered around West Africa. Only 8 Liberians were allowed. And from other countries that didn't really have war, like communist countries, they allowed more refugees. So that was the first initiative. We had to do our research, and we did a trip from Nigeria to Bunagura refugee camp, Togo, Ivory Coast, all the way to Senegal. We went to all of the places where Liberians were, and we interviewed them. We took the flight. By the time, Senator Edward Kennedy was senator from Massachusetts, and we had a congressional briefing, and he was the one who actually helped establish the cause of Liberian refugees to be allowed to come to the country, and for other refugees to come also.
Okay, and so let's look at your current advocacy. What are Liberians looking up for from the Universal Human Rights International?
Right now, we are pushing for the U.S. visa waiver for all Liberians. Um, when the war came, I was working at the United States Embassy at the time, and everyone that was in Liberia, the country had shut down. The president had been killed. There was no commercial activities. The airports had been shut down. It was just chaos. And in that chaos, people were fleeing from this country. And foreigners that lived here and worked here were also trying to leave. So the international community prioritized the foreign residents of Liberia to get them out of here. The United States Embassy, the United States State Department also prioritized the life of foreigners to leave, but they did not do the same for Liberians. In fact, at that time, they prevented Liberians from getting visa to leave this country. And so that was the first eye-opening incident I saw at the United States Embassy, that you have a process for visa, but everyone else can come. Liberians were not allowed to come. And that, I was told, was based on a classified document I was sent from Washington, D.C. to the embassy in Monrovia. A lot of people died who had relatives in the United States, but they couldn't survive here because there was no food, there was no shelter, and there was just violence all over the place. So that was the first time that we actually started campaigning for Liberians to have access to life, liberty, and happiness like other people.
And okay, so you are talking about this visa waiver for Liberians. Do we understand that we still have the diversity visa program, that is the DV, so to speak? There have been resettlement packages for Liberians as well, as a result of the civil unrest. What do you want Liberians to achieve from this?
Um, Liberians desire democracy all over the length and breadth of this country. Liberians desire democracy. And what they don't know is that democracy is not what governments do. Democracy is not what foreign countries do. Democracy is not what experts do. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And so if you want democracy, you got to give the people access to the greatest resource they have, which is their minds, access to quality education, access to employment, access to business opportunities. Liberians currently don't have those access at all. And so over 200 years, Liberians have been relying on educated people to come and develop the country. It has not happened. They rely on foreign companies to come and mine the gold, the diamond, and iron ore. It has not brought sustainable development to this place. The only thing that they have not tried is to have access to quality education for everyone. And in our research, we found out that in American law and in the laws of the Republic of Liberia, it says all Liberians are entitled to all privileges enjoyed by Americans. Today, all Liberians today, citizens from 40 countries are allowed to come to the United States without visa. Citizens from 40 countries, huge countries like Japan, 125 million people, are allowed to come to the United States without visa. America helped Japan in its development after the World War II. But it was Japanese who came to America, Japanese who had access to opportunities that were able to do this work. Um, we have citizens from 57 countries have access to America employment, short-term, temporary employment. Liberia is not part of those. We have citizens from 5 territories controlled by the United States. And over 300 indigenous peoples nations, African American nations, I mean, Native American nations, sovereign nations in the United States have access to American opportunities. So if over 300 sovereign countries have access to the United States, if over 40 countries have access to coming to America without visa, why should Liberians be excluded when Liberia is the only country created by the United States? Most people think that Liberia is a country that was not colonized by any country. They don't know. The fact is, Liberia was created by an act of the United States legislature on March 3, 1819, that authorized the United States Navy to create Liberia and authorized $100,000 of American taxes to create Liberia. And even the American Colonization Society was not even chartered at that time. So it was a voluntary association, was not even a registered organization. It was the United States that created Liberia. And here we are today, the only country created by Liberia. Article 1 of the 1824 Constitution said all persons born in Liberia are entitled to all privileges enjoyed by Americans. We are not enjoying those privileges. And without access to quality education, without access to employment and business opportunities, there is no way this country is going to have democracy because people are relying on politicians to come and deliver sustainable development. It has not happened in 200 years because the government of Liberia, the system of governance was designed to enrich and empower politicians. And so politicians can come and help themselves and their family, but they can do nothing to bring sustainable development to this country until the people themselves have access to improve.
Talk about human resource development. And so let's try to measure too. How can the visa waiver help Liberians to develop Liberia?
Okay, so You look at countries like China, for example. A few decades ago, China was not what it is today. But the Chinese have been able to educate themselves, and not only did they educate themselves, they built institutions of, of higher learning in their country, using their own language to be able to advance themselves. A lot of them went to school in the United States. A lot of the Japanese went to school in the United States. In Europe, there was a Marshall Plan after World War II. And so the United States has been open to these countries, but in Liberia, it's only the children of politicians, not the vast masses. And so if the law says all persons born in Liberia are entitled, then we want to make sure that entitlement becomes a reality. Because everyone I see and ask as a Liberian, ordinary Liberian, they vote for a politician, but they don't control what the politicians do once they get in office. So all they do is just vote and vote and vote. And the years go by and they're born in poverty, they live and die in poverty. But if people get that, when people have education, when people have access to capital, they're able to develop themselves, they're able to use their mind, they're able to create products and services. They're not waiting for somebody to come and create a company, they will create the company themselves.
Okay, let's look at tomorrow in Liberia 175th independence observance, and almost pushing 200 years. What are the legal backings do you have to put this advocacy for?
So one of the persons that supported is Representative Benjamin Swan from Massachusetts. He came to Liberia and he went into, I have a YouTube video I want to share with you. He going to villages where there's no road. He went to villages where there are no roads, where there's no electricity, and he slept in these places. And he was wondering why is it that Liberians don't have access to the opportunities in the United States when there was a legal basis. So the legal basis is the, the law, Article 1 of the Liberian Constitution of 1824. And this constitution was not written by black people. Liberia was not founded by black people. Liberia was not even founded by free slaves in the United States. Liberia was founded by the government of the United States, the March 3, 1819 Act of the United States Congress. But you go back a little further. On March 26, 1790, Congress passed another law that said only white people will be citizens of the United States. America was founded on the basis that all men are created equal. But with that apartheid law on March 26, it denigrated not just the color, but the humanity of black people. And so they had to find a place to remove black people and mixed race people from the United States and then bring European immigrants to the United States because they were white. And you see, I have the picture here of one-way traffic. The arrow is just pointing in one direction. Americans can come and rule over Liberia, but Liberians cannot go to access opportunities in the United States. He said 10 African American presidents. All these people were born in the United States. They were free Americans, but United States found it worthwhile to bring them here, red, white, and blue. The currency is legal, US dollar is legal tender here. But the people that live here, they're born to live and die in poverty. We don't have those privileges because we never asked. The Bible says you have not because you ask not, ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be open. Right now, with the help of Representative Benson and with the documents that we have, we are pushing for change. We want to make this dream of equal opportunity, this dream of sustainable democracy, this dream of sustainable development to be a reality for all Liberians, not just a few. We just passed the dual citizenship bill a few days ago to benefit diaspora Liberians.
I was just trying to bring that up.
Like myself. So diaspora Liberians now, with the president's signature, will be allowed to come to this country to be able to live, to work, to do whatever they can. But what's about the other Liberians? This is a provision of the law, which in many instances people have said it is the inalienable rights of Liberians. The rights of Liberians were not given to them by the legislature. They cannot take that right away. What's about the indigenous Liberians that are here, people who live here, who don't have a chance to go to Harvard University or other places? They too are the ones who elect the politicians. So why shouldn't they have the same opportunity that is enshrined in the laws of the United States and the laws of Liberia? They need to get that. And so right now we are saying that dual citizenship for diaspora people, that's all well and good. But the vast majority of Liberians need this thing. If we don't allow Liberians to have these access, Liberia is going to be what I call fish town. Fish town where people come fishing. When you come fishing, you put the food on a hook. The hook is a twisted sharp iron. You hide the hook in the food and inform the fish. You give the impression, I'm here to feed fish in fish town. And you throw the hook. The first fish that open their mouth and swallow that food becomes your dinner. Liberia becomes fish town. When people all over the world, I met a young man from Syria the other day. He has a store on UN Drive. He just came here. I met another person from, they're coming from all over, coming to fish town, fishing. What are they going to take out of here? They take the money.
Where are we now with this advocacy?
Where we are now with the advocacy, I believe we have right now about 2,000 persons that have signed up on the. We have 2,000 persons that have signed up their names and their phone numbers to be part of this campaign here, mainly here in Liberia, in Grand Bassa County, Buchanan, in Nema County, and some people here in Monrovia as well. We also have had 4 financial contributions from people. See, on the website, freeliberia.org, there's a space for you to sign up. There's also a space for you to put in a donation. It's free. You don't have to pay a dime. But we ask for donation because everything requires money. And we have right now 4 persons that made donations. One of them just passed away in Sunny Puerto. There's a young man from Sunny Puerto that made a donation of $10 Liberian. I've never met him. He just heard my voice and said, I want to be part of this. He made a donation. Another person in Sunny Puerto made a donation of 1,000 Liberian dollars. So on the website, you can make donations through mobile money. $10 Liberian, $1,000 Liberian, $10 US, $1,000 Liberian. They made contributions so that we can use that to promote, to buy materials for people to read. And then in Buchanan, we had a gentleman who paid $25 as a donation. And then in the States, yes, US dollar. In the States, we have another gentleman, Charles Malou, who made a donation of $250. So these are the 4 people. Actually, I'm making a mistake. There's one more guy. He called himself Busy Man Wallamo in Boston. He made a donation of $60. $60, $250, $25, 1,000 Liberian, $10 USD. These 5 people have come up to say, what can we do to help move this forward? And then 2,000 people have signed up and said they are willing to carry this forward. Also, we named this Representative Ben Swan petition. We want to petition the United States government. And this petition is going to go to Mr. McCarthy at the American Embassy in Monrovia. It's going to go to Mr. Biden in the White House. It's going to go to the United States Senate and the United States House of Representatives. The more people that sign up, the better it's going to be.
So how are Liberians in the U.S. responding to this entire advocacy?
It's not just in the U.S. Liberians everywhere. How are they responding to this? There's been 4 responses. Number 1, people say it's impossible, it's not going to work. White people will never allow people from Liberia to come. That's what one group of people say. So stop it. Another group of people say stop it because if it goes through, everybody will be Liberia, will leave Liberia, the place will be empty. Don't do it. Second group will say that. The third group will say, don't do it because if you do it, we will lose our country. Chinese people will come, Lebanese people will come, and all the Liberians will leave, and they're not going to be there anymore. And then there are those who have made financial contributions, like the people I just talked about. They say all things are possible with God, and this is needed for our development. We're going to get involved. And whatever we can do, we will get involved. So those have been the four responses of people. And what I say is that when in this country there's still ritualistic killing, young girls and young boys, their private parts have been cut, their blood wastes in the dark, and they cry to God. I believe God has heard their cry. And with this free visa waiver for all Liberians, for Liberians to have access to quality education, employment, and business opportunity, for Liberian. Period.
Have to be all Liberian.
Liberian, this is only for people who are Liberians.
So you talk about 2,000 plus signatories already.
Yes.
How many are you anticipating before you can present the petition?
Well, right now, because Mr. Swan is getting older now, he just recently retired, he would like to see all those who believe that this is good, those people should sign up. If it starts at 2,000, then of course you know Liberia's population is not 2,000. Every Liberian that goes to that embassy, we talk about how they're even treated. When they go for an interview, they put them in a open space where when they ask you a question, everybody hears what the answer is going to be. No privacy whatsoever. No accommodation. No, like people stand outside in the rain, in the sun, to go and actually breathe. The human dignity of Liberians have been trapped right here in the United States. So those people who have lost money at the U.S. Embassy, those people who desire to have quality education, those people who desire to have employment. I just came from a retreat in Vermont, where a lot of the young people who are working there are temporarily there to work for 3 months and get enough money to go back to their country. From Australia, from UK, from even Jamaica. Why not Liberians? Right here, people go to school, they graduate, they get degrees, but the quality of education is not the same, number one. And then with a degree, they can't even get a job. Then they don't have the resources to create jobs. Where are they going? They are born to live and die in poverty. This is a game changer for all Liberians, ordinary Liberians.
You talk about some Liberians trying to procure visa and they spend money they were denied. Do you have an advocacy also to ensure that those monies are restituted?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Right now we're working to make sure that anyone and everyone from 1980, 1990, that's where we draw the line. From 1990 up until now, until we have this visa waiver, anyone who is denied visa at that U.S. embassy is going to get a refund. We're going to get a refund because the basis for the denial is not because they failed interview. It's because the United States government wrote a letter to the people over there and said to discriminate against Liberians. And so Liberia today is one of the worst visa refusal countries in the world. People from Sierra Leone have a better chance. People from Africa have better chance. People from Ghana and Guinea have better chance than the Republic of Liberia. It's wrong. It shouldn't be because Liberia is the only country in the world that the citizens have this free access to the United States for education, for employment, and for business opportunities.
Do you see this as a winnable venture?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I have evidence that this is going to be a reality very soon.
Very soon.
One of many, I have many proofs that I know it's going to happen. One of the proof I have is that how God has provided for me. In America, everybody has to work to make a living. And people have to pay bills. Most people go to work 1, 2, 3 jobs, and they don't have time for anything. Since I went to the United States, this is all I've been doing. And God has sustained me for 30 years in the United States. I just took up a job a few weeks ago where I'm working only 2 days a week on Saturdays and Sunday, which is like just 2 days. But prior to that, all I've done full time was just this advocacy. in the country and around the country.
About 30 years.
And God sustained me for 30 years, but God sustained the children of Israel for 40 years in the desert. And He has sustained me for 30 years. What do I mean? The car that I drive, I got it for free from someone who didn't know me, and up to today, I don't know him. But He said, God revealed to him that there's someone working in the interest of the children of God, and that person needs to get this brand new car. This man lived in Alabama. I lived in Massachusetts. And through the miracles of God, we were able to connect in New Hampshire, where this car was passed on to me. I'm going to give you a 1.3 minutes video for you to watch it for yourself and see me getting key for a car from somebody that I don't know, that didn't know me, didn't even know what I did. That's one thing. Second thing, that was a miracle. And when Moses went to set the children of Israel free, God used miracles to show to Pharaoh these people had to go. So for me, that was one of the miracles. The 30 years and the things that transpired during those 30 years. I have to pay for the registration or the insurance or the taxes. The same guy paid for everything. Second thing, a brand new house for an office, 31 Heath Street. Who owned that building? They show it. 31 Heath Street. I didn't even know the people there, they didn't know me. But they were able to give me a place for office that I had on the fourth floor that had computers, internet, and everything. Place for me to work. The third thing, Boston is a very expensive town. The houses cost so high you can't get into it. I just recently won a house. I'm going to show you the video for that. To a place where I cannot afford, because God wants me to be there to show the truth of what's going on so that His people can be set free. So, and there's more that I can show you, and you can see for yourself by going to Google. With all of these things happening, it's not for me. It is for the people whose body parts have been cut in secret, that nobody sees, and they never see justice or the light of day. Has heard their cries, He's seen their pains, and God has come to rescue. So it's not me. That is why it's going to take ordinary people. God is going to inspire them to rise up. Like the gentleman who just passed away in Sunny Village. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but he paid money towards this cause. That's the way it's going.
Sorry about that. But let's move on quickly. We are just about to wrap up now. I'm so much more concerned about some of those websites you just gave Google connections. Can you kindly announce to the world how they can website get
So that is the information you go to the free Liberia, when it's called the Free Liberia Movement.
free Liberia?
Free Liberia Movement, go to freeliberia.org. FREE Liberia.org. I was talking to a guy on the plane. He said, Free Liberia, Liberia in jail, before Liberia, you be free. I said, go to West Point and ask the people. There are people stuck in West Point that can't get out of there. There are people stuck in West Point. They fought, but they don't have access to opportunities. The talented people, God is sending so many talented people through the length and breadth of this country, and they live and die without seeing the light of day in West Point and across the length and breadth of this country. Go and find out whether they are free or they are not free.
So it's Free Liberia Movement.
The Free Liberia Movement.
Yeah, Free Liberia Movement.
The Free Liberia Movement on Facebook and freeliberia.org on the website.
Okay, before I leave you, tomorrow is Liberia's independence. What would be your message to Liberians?
My message to Liberians is that it's been 200 years already. The Bible says you reap what you sow. The seed that was sown in Liberia 200 years ago germinated and bore fruit for 200 years. It's still bearing fruits today. That fruit is not sweet. It's bitter ball. It's a bitter fruit. And it's going to continue to bear that same fruit until there is change. And the change has to come from the people. We need to sow a different seed. The seed that was sown here was a seed of corruption. The seed that was sown here was a seed of deception. The seed that was sown here was a seed of slavery. Why do I say this? Who do we honor in our country? Our country is called Liberians, not by us. We didn't name this country Liberia. The name was given by the people who control Fishtown. They came and said, we're going to provide food for you. when they actually meant this is a bit. This thing that you call food, if you swallow it, we're going to catch you and take you to the other side to eat dinner. All of the founding fathers were people, people who created Liberia were slave masters. James Monroe, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, Andrew Jackson, these are all presidents of the United States who owned slaves and didn't free any slaves. They created Liberia. The Constitution we're talking about was their creation. It was not a black person's creation. They created Liberia. They passed the law. So today people say Liberia was not colonized by any country. That's not true. Liberia was created by an act of the United States Congress, March 3, 1819. Why? And they wrote it there in the annual report. We are creating this country to keep black people in poverty, in slavery, and happy. To be happy in slavery. That's it's written. I'm going to show you. So when you're doing it, you can put a caption there. So today, what do we do? Do we continue in the path of the slave masters, or do we call for a new nation? Those people were human beings, they're dead. What they created was good for them, but not for us. And so we have the right to call for something new. And what we're calling for is sustainable participatory democracy. Participatory democracy where the citizens are the boss. They choose their leaders, but the leaders are public servants. The law is made by lawmakers, but the citizens have veto. Go to Switzerland, they have participatory democracy. The people have the veto, not the politicians, because the politicians are public servants. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But right now, this government, you can't blame a particular government because the whole system was designed to enrich and empower the politicians. If you have a business and decide that your workers will decide their own salaries, as we do, that business will last for no time. It's going to be bankrupt, just like this country. If you have a business where the employees make the law and their word is final, your business is going nowhere. But in participatory democracy, the people are the masters. That's what we need. For you to have participatory democracy, we need to have access to quality education, employment, and business opportunity. And those rights have already been laid down by the people who founded this country, the white slave masters. Because you see, we have inalienable rights. Those rights were given to us by our Creator. They didn't give it, and they couldn't take it away. And therefore, we need to demand our rights right now. And that is, everyone in Liberia should be allowed to go to America to get their education, to get business, to be able to work, and come back to this country. Right now, foreigners are coming here from all over. They're coming here, setting up their shop. They can get business loans. They come here. I mean, everything, they control everything. And we're going to celebrate it tomorrow. What are we celebrating? West Point, we shouldn't. We've done it for 200 years, and 200 years is more than enough. Now is the time for the people. You know, on the ballot in 2023, there'll be two groups of people on the ballot. One group will be politicians. They'll be telling the citizens, choose us, vote for us. And if you vote for us, we're going to turn water into wine. We're going to make you to walk on water. We'll make everything new. That's what they're going to say. But where are their wives and children in America? Where are their salaries higher than the salaries of American public servants? If you choose them, the same thing that happened in 1847, 1947, all the same thing. But then there's another group of people on the ballot, and those people are the ordinary citizens. They can vote for themselves. They can vote for equal opportunities. They can vote for a visa that's going to give them a chance, something already codified in law. They can vote for their children. So they have to make a choice to go right now online and choose themselves and their family so that they can have democracy, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, or wait until 2023 and vote for politicians and sit down and hope that somehow the bitter ball seed I was planted in 1847, in 1822, will magically start bearing apple seed. It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
And it will never happen.
Okay, Reverend, thanks so much. That's the voice of Reverend Torli H. Krua. He's the CEO and founder of the Universal Human Rights International, and he's been our guest on this Independence Day Eve. My name is Tar Yubi Candidate for 2 Radio TV. It has been a wonderful time happy pre-independence to all Liberians. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and happy liberation to all who are still struggling. You want to say something else?